All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I think you probably can. I want to thank you for coming to the Middle Fort Greenway today to get an update. I appreciate you tuning in and just learning about all the exciting updates that we have and the progress on the trail that's happening. I also want to just thank you for your donations. We are where we are today because of your continued support. And so today I just want to give you kind of an update, an overview. If you have questions, there's a chat box in the bottom that you can ask questions. And at the end, if I haven't answered any questions, I'd be happy to answer those then. So I'm Wendy Patoprsty. I have lived in the high country for about 21 years, and I've been the director of the Middle Fort Greenway for Blue Ridge Conservancy for about 5 years. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Blue Ridge Conservancy, we are a local nonprofit, and I'm going to share my screen right now with you. Let's see. There we are. Local nonprofit, Blue Ridge Conservancy, that has protected land in the high country. So we have 7 counties here. And we work with local landowners, local communities to permanently protect natural resources with agricultural, cultural, recreational, ecological, and scenic value in Northwest North Carolina. So you can see here we are here with our 7 counties. We've got Allegheny, Ashe, Wilkes, Watauga, Avery, Yancey, Mitchell, Yancey. And part of our mission is to protect land with recreational opportunities. And so you can see here, all the red is BRC protected properties, and that's over 22,000 acres of land in these 7 counties, which is pretty impressive. A lot of them have those values that we just mentioned. So, of course, part of our mission is to expand recreational access and opportunities for people to get out and enjoy these properties. And so the Middle Fort Greenway is actually one of Blue Ridge Conservancy's premier projects that, of course, is going to protect or connect Boone to Blowing Rock. So if I scroll in here, you can kind of see this corridor here. So you may have driven through the 321 corridor a few times and just wondered, how is the trail going to actually connect Boone to Blowing Rock? Well, I hope to shed some light for you today. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll also see the vision of having this wonderful corridor connecting our 2 towns that provides habitat for wildlife, protects our water resources, and of course has everyone out to enjoy the river and our natural environment. So I wanted to first really talk about the momentum that we have right now. And a lot of the reason that we have this momentum is because of the partnerships and the funding strategy, but it's also because we have had a enormous outpouring of hard work and dedication and vision that community leaders have had over the years. And let me just throw this up here. Can you all see that? So here's a list of some of our, just a handful of our leaders that have really, really provided some wonderful leadership over the years to get the framework, lay the foundation, and kind of the story that's behind this whole project. And so I'm really excited to work with everyone and continue moving forward on project success. Also, we have had hundreds of donors give from $5 to tens of thousands of dollars. And those dollars have all leveraged state grants and federal grants to help get this momentum going. So I wanted to thank each individual who's ever given even $1 for a roundup or change at an event. It has made a difference. And so we are working with a lot of partners. Of course, it's the Blue Ridge Conservancy Project, Middle Fort Greenway. We have worked tirelessly with the town of Blowing Rock, Watauga County, and the town of Boone, because all 3 of those jurisdictions are within the Middle Fort Greenway corridor. But I wanted to also recognize the tourism development authorities. they have been instrumental in leveraging state grants as well. They've helped provide money for land acquisition, design, engineering, permitting, construction, and all those matches. Now, the other thing I wanted to really just highlight was that Zap Endurance in Blowing Rock has donated funding for the last 5 years to help with administration. And so that means money that's raised for the project goes directly to the project development. And Zap has helped with all of the, rent and administration and things like that. So it really could not have been done. All of this work is not able to be done without all of these partners in place. So we are really excited about all these partnerships. So for those of you who have not been to the Blowing Rock Trailhead, this is a picture of it. And you may wonder why we built this trailhead and it doesn't go anywhere. Well, it was really pivotal and important timing because as the NCDOT was widening 321, we decided it would be very important to work with them. And we're so glad that we did because they were able to fund about 80% of the construction of this trailhead. So it was just a really great time to go ahead and get it installed. And then, of course, continue to work on the rest of the trail. So let's see here. There's Google Earth. So here we are in Blowing Rock. And our trailhead, this picture that I just showed you, is right here. This is our trailhead, and it's just south of Tanger Outlets right here. So this is the old road that took you down to Chatola. So all of this is trailhead right now. And of course, this is before the widening. So this is now a widened road. But the trail is already done through the intersection at Tanger Outlets, and it goes about 600 feet beyond Tanger Outlets. So the section that we're looking at right now to construct is actually about 1.2 miles from the trailhead all the way through the Blue Ridge Parkway. So all this green is National Park Service, Blue Ridge Parkway. And we have an easement through 444. We'll be working on that. So the Greenway is going to be on the right side of the river. And our goal is to actually go under the Blue Ridge Parkway. So of course, we're working with the Blue Ridge Parkway right now on permitting and getting that access. And there's a lot of regulatory and environmental assessments and things that need to be taken into account to work on this National Park Service property. So this 1.2 miles continues on through the Foley Center, which we have an easement through. So this whole 1.2 miles from the trailhead through the end of the Foley Center, we are completely funded. We're funded for the stream restoration, which will go on in the Blue Ridge Parkway property. And we're also funded for the Greenway Trail. So an engineering firm has been hired. They're working diligently to get the permits that are required to go through National Park Service property. This was funded through federal grants. Therefore, there's also some hoops to jump through to get that funding to unlock. But we're really excited because some of the area here, let me just open this up a little bit. Here behind the Blowing Rock water treatment facility, you can see the river. This is the Middle Fork of the New River. This was in 2017. The river is pretty eroded. And so just a few years later, here's that pole that was in the ground. You can see how actively eroding it is. So we have partnered with many partners to get the funding to take this stream and restore it back to a functioning trout habitat and a wonderful fishing access once the Greenway is constructed. And so we're working with New River Conservancy and all of these partners listed here below for funding. And we hope that this can coincide with the restoration and the Greenway being built at the same time, so that people can get out and enjoy the Greenway and the newly restored stream. So if we go back to our Google Earth, I'll scroll out a little bit. As we leave Blowing Rock and we head towards Boone, I wanted to showcase the section of trail that is already complete. So if you haven't been on this section where Tweetsie Railroad is, we have almost a mile on the ground. So it starts here at Tweetsie, the northern end of the Tweetsie parking lot, goes along the river, goes next to Mystery Hill, under the highway, and all the way down to Sterling Creek Park, which is about a 4-acre pocket park that was donated by the Whitener family. And this section is on the ground. It was put in 2015. And we're really excited because there's just some beautiful areas there that you can already go out and enjoy. So here it is, Sterling Creek Park, out running and enjoying that area of the trail. Kids riding their bikes by Tweetsie. Can you just imagine riding your bike from Boone or Blowing Rock and being able to get to Tweetsie Railroad without ever having to get into your car? So that's what we're working on. We'll get to that next. But here is a picture of Sterling Creek Park. This was built and really the vision of many of those volunteers and the community leaders that I shared with you earlier. This just is just a wonderful community resource to be able to get out and access the river and go and have a picnic in between the two towns. So this is what you would expect to see. This is at Sterling Creek Park, the middle fork of the New River. It is a trout stream. And just the economic impact of having a trout stream between two municipalities is enormous. And so in 2014, North Carolina Wildlife Resources did a study on trout impact in North Carolina in our western counties, and it's a $383 million economic impact in western North Carolina. So really, when you're driving on Highway 321, it's hard to even see the beauty of this river because you're going 50 miles an hour. So people have asked me, well, how are you going to get under Highway 321? Well, it's already being done. So Mystery Hill is on the other side over here. Sterling Creek Park is over here. And this is a tunnel. There's 3 boxes. The river is using 2 and the Greenway is using 1. So if you haven't already been out to section 4, which is on the ground, and obviously people are out enjoying it, I encourage you to get out there and go through the mystery tunnel and enjoy that section. So this is that section that's done. I just was mentioning this mile. And currently we are working on the next mile to make that connection. So we'll have 2 miles in the center of the Middle Fork Greenway between our 2 towns. So if you can visualize on Highway 321, here is Niley Cook Road. And here is Blue Deer Cookie Company, Highland Landscape, Chandler Concrete, all those places are right in here. And so you might have driven by and seen the 321 coming soon sign. All this yellow line is being built now, and it will be completed by the end of this year. So I wanted to kind of quickly show you that this all in red is under control by the county or Blue Ridge Conservancy or has easements. And so at this little section off of Niley Cook Road, we'll have an 8 parking spot area where you can access the trail. From there, you will come down through, across the river. Fortunately, Blue Ridge Conservancy was able to purchase this 2 acres last year during 2020 and clear out some of that old buildings and things that were there. So you'll have a bridge that crosses here. This will be a 29 parking spot area off the highway for people to access, to be able to go north and south on the Greenway. We'll have another bridge that crosses over to this 12 acres that Blue Ridge Conservancy purchased about 4 years ago with funding from Blue Cross Blue Shield and the state North Carolina Land and Water Fund. So this trail will be coming through here, and it'll be ending right about here this year. We're working on the permitting and the final fundraising to make this connection from this side of the highway to Tweetsie over here. So this is where the new Quality Plus gas station is. So remember that culvert I just showed you, we are wanting to do that same exact culvert scenario. It has the 3 boxes that goes under the highway for the river. We'll let the river use 2. We'll take 1 during high rain events and flooding. Of course, the river would rise up and use that third culvert, but it would be, the Greenway would be closed at that point with massive flooding. So right now, this section is still underway for the design, engineering, and permitting and fundraising, but we're on target to begin construction on this in April of 2022. And so we just got to continue making that a priority, because we don't want to have this mile done and this mile done without this critical link that is safety for folks to get under the highway there. So I'll show you a couple of pictures that we have going on right now. Here is the cranes that are installing our bridges that cross the river. Our bridges are about 70 feet long, so they are pretty intense bridges to be able to bypass the floodway of the river. So if you can imagine yourself, this will be a trail going towards Boone after you come off this bridge. So here's where our parking area is off of the highway. You come across the bridge and continue your way down to Boone. Here is that parking spot. This is kind of what it looks like. This is just a rendering. It's been modified since this, but you can kind of see when you come off of Highway 321, you'll have a right in and a right out only. We'll have these parking areas. We'll have, actually, we've included some rain gardens to capture the runoff from all of these parking spots and the asphalt and the warm water, to capture it before it goes into the river. So you'll be able to leave the parking area and go either south towards Blowing Rock, or yes, south towards Blowing Rock or north towards Boone. And we're really excited about this track, because if we didn't have this, I don't think there'd be enough parking for everyone. And so this is just really a great space to for folks to be able to see the Greenway and access it right from the highway, super easy from both sides of town. So here is another photograph of kind of that connector that we're talking about, to connect Tweetsie Railroad to this track that we're building right there. So here's Quality Oil over here, the Quality Plus gas station. Here's Tweetsie. So you might be wondering, well, why is this so complicated? The bridge that's right here is got to be out of the floodway. We've got to make sure we're not impacting any of the flood area. And then going under the highway here, it takes a lot of permitting through lots of different agencies to make that happen. So working with Mosaic, Civic Group, and a lot of different folks, we're making it happen. So I'm really grateful for the county's work on this. And this section, you wouldn't believe it, but it's going to cost around $700,000 to make this connection. So that's what we are fundraising for this year. And I'll kind of get into that in just a little bit. So as we moved back to Google Earth, so that's that connection right here. It's like 700 feet and it costs quite a bit. So you might be wondering, okay, so you've got this whole section down. It's good to go. We've got this whole Blowing Rock section down, but there's these two links here, from here to here, and then from Niley Cook to the hospital. How are we going to make this happen? That's a great question, because we have options. And so about 2 months ago, we received a call from the NCDOT saying that they wanted to fund 2 feasibility studies for the Middle Fork Greenway. And so what we're looking at is this whole area from Niley Cook Road and how we get to the hospital right here in Boone. We're looking at going on both sides of the highway. So there could possibly be a loop that would come from the hospital down Jordan D. Cook through the valley here and up to connect to Niley Cook, and also looking at the upper highway. So I have a slide here that I'd like to show you that kind of demonstrates this. If you can see, here's Niley Cook, where we're dead ending in the 8 parking spot area right here. DOT is going to be looking at continuing the trail on the east side of the highway. And when you get up here on this property, which is ASU property, it's actually a really great view, and it kind of lends itself to a different experience on the Greenway because we don't have a lot of high elevation views on the trail. It's mostly following the river. So if this is a possibility, we'll find out with the feasibility study that DOT is funding. It can connect back over to the hospital with a loop at the bottom of this property, and that would then connect to Deerfield Road and then over to the existing Greenway in Boone, which is another 5.5, 6 miles. So we're looking at 12 to 13 miles of Greenway Trail that would all be connected. The other section that we're looking at is the western part of the highway, which means having to go underneath 321 again, right here with this blue line. So this would represent some trails that could come through and meander through some properties and have some just additional spurs that would then connect up to Pain Branch Park, which has recently been upgraded and restored. The dam has been removed and continue on up through and under the highway again to connect up to Niley Cook Road. And so this is all in feasibility study. We don't have access to all this property. So this is kind of what we're looking at to see if it is feasible with the NCDOT. So as we move out, I wanted to show some pictures of ZAP, Zika Ray over at on the river below the dam removal site. Here are some of the river photos that are in between Boone and Blowing Rock. So this is what we want to all be able to enjoy. And this is some of the volunteers who have helped out with Pain Branch Park, some of the planting, the trail work, the signage from the restored section of the river. So if you can see this restoration of the river, it's a total different scenario from what it was. I guess it was completed back in November of 2020. And so the trail builder, Blue Ridge Trail Works, was able to put this trail in this past spring. And it's not super long, but I think it's a really great little community pocket zone for folks to get out and enjoy this section of river. So I would encourage you, if you go on Pain Branch Road, it's about a quarter of a mile down on your right. With the dam used to be, you can kind of see this is where the dam was, and now the river is allowing that dam gone. Now the trout, hellbenders, salamanders, crayfish, all the aquatic life can migrate back and forth from upper and lower sections of that river, which is really critical for wildlife habitat and passage. So that was a very exciting project that was done through many different nonprofits and state grants as well. So I wanted to show you again so here's Boone to Niley Cook feasibility study happening this year and early next year. The other section that we are getting feasibility studies on, if I scroll out, you can see this green is the Blue Ridge Parkway. This yellow is what we are going to be, we are underway design, engineering and permitting. And then from this yellow line to where we dead end at Sterling Creek Park, this whole section is also a feasibility study. So we're looking at Blue Ridge Conservancy purchased this property and this property over the past couple of years. So these two tracks are under our control, and we'll be able to do some pretty cool upgrades to that property for the Greenway. And so DOT is going to be looking from here, coming through here, and what's going to be the best, safest, most effective route to make this happen. And so I have another slide to show you that here, which is, here's the terminus at Sterling Creek Park. We'll bridge over the river and cruise through this 12-acre tract that you might have seen on the side of the highway here. The J&M Market is right across the street here for reference. And this is Faith Bridge Church and Three Rivers Building Supply area. So this is the section that's also the feasibility study area too that DOT will be looking at. But what's really exciting about this section of the Greenway is the new Blue Ridge Conservancy Conservation Campus. If you come down Aho Road, and you come about a quarter of a mile on your left. Blue Ridge Conservancy we basically inherited from Don and Audrey Bentley, 46 acres and a house. And so a wonderful donor has seen the vision and knew that it would be really important to look at this 46 acres as a forever home for Blue Ridge Conservancy. So over the last year and a half, this has been happening for Blue Ridge Conservancy. This is our new office. We are moving in still today, actually. Our furniture is coming in. So we are really excited about this being the forever home for Blue Ridge Conservancy. And the donors who have had the vision to help make this happen it's just an incredible, it's the legacy that will be ongoing for way beyond all of us here. So all of the staff is really excited about the new house. We're also excited about the landscape. This 46 acres has just an incredible amount of ecosystems and habitats that we're excited to explore and share with the public. And so if you're coming down Aho Road, this is that big bend on your left, that bottomland here. So what Blue Ridge Conservancy is going to do, so here is 321, come down Aho Road like this. This is Faithbridge Church over here. This is the house that I just showed you, right here where my arrow is. And this right here is a 3-car garage. So what we'll do is we're going to have public parking down here, and this green line represents about 1.5 miles, maybe to 2 miles of trail that's actually being constructed right now. So this will be open to the public to park here, have a nice little 1.5 to 2 mile trail through the woods for folks to enjoy. And then ultimately the goal will be to have a spur trail also through Faithbridge Church down to where the Greenway will be, somewhere in this area here. So that's the feasibility study that's happening right now with the NCDOT. So as we scroll along, I just want to show you the overview again. So here we are on the map. It looks like a small little section. Let's just connect here to here. No big deal, right? So I wanted to show you too, kind of where we are with funding right now. And so if you look at funding in hand, so 4.8 million that we're spending right now through 2023 on sections 1, 4, and 6. That means Blowing Rock section, the section 4 that's under construction right now that will eventually connect to Tweetsie Railroad and have that 2-mile section done in the center. And what's already been spent on land acquisition and trail construction, design, engineering, permitting is 3 million. So what we need right now in 2021 is that Tweetsie connector. We need about 400,000. We have around 300 to get that underpass going. And so that's a really critical link, like I said, to make that happen. And then also I'd like to acquire, well, we would all like to acquire some property that's for sale to create a linear park in section 5, which is towards that Boone side. So that's kind of our critical funding right now. And how we're doing this is we are looking at the roundup for the Greenway again. The reason section 4 is being constructed right now is because of the 2019 roundup for the Greenway. The roundup for the Greenway in 2019 raised $200,000 just by people adding $1 to their hotel room bill or rounding up their change at a mass store or any of these other businesses that contributed. So that 200,000 was then matched by Wells Fargo and BB&T, now Truist. Those two banks donated $100,000 each to match that $200,000. And that 400,000 that became then matched state grants. And those state grants all have come through for us. And that is how we are building this next mile of trail. So it literally has been from pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters raised through this roundup for the Greenway, just kind of the community rising up. And so we're just so grateful for the 2021 businesses and partners that are contributing this year and all the funds raised through this year's roundup will go towards that Tweetsie connector. So other options include pavers. We are putting in custom engraved pavers at the trailhead. We're also doing bench plaques for ways to recognize donors who give large gifts. And also we've got bronze leaves on the pavilion that is at the trailhead in Blowing Rock. So a lot of ways that folks can contribute and be recognized on the Greenway Trail. And we've had lots of great community support. The Rotary Club has installed a bunch of pavers out there at the trailhead, and it's really been just a groundswelling of community support. So we appreciate the Rotary Club for adopting this area. So I wanted to just leave you all with my contact information to share with you if you have any questions or have additional comments that you'd like to share with me, or if you have ways that we can get more funding to get this built faster, I would be more than happy to answer anything. And if you have any questions right now, you can go to the chat room and ask questions away, and I'd be happy to answer them right now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and I will look at, let's see, the chat. Okay, well, we have some really good comments with the chat, but no direct questions. So I am happy to, like I said, share with you any other information that you might want to know. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out anytime. And also our website has a plethora of information on it as well. And so I hope to see you out on the trail. And I appreciate you taking the time to learn more about the Greenway and where we are right now, and kind of all the nuts and bolts and pieces that are out there. And I also wanted to let you know that this has been recorded. And so if you know anyone who might want to know what was talked about today, you can feel free to share that link, and it can get the information out. And hopefully, I saw online someone say, I really hope the Greenway is built in my lifetime. And I hope after today's presentation, you can kind of see all the momentum that is happening and the work that's being done through Blue Ridge Conservancy and our municipalities and our towns and all the community that's just rallying together to make this happen. I really, I hope you can also see that, yes, it will be done in our lifetime. You will be able to run 12 to 13 miles connected from Boone to Blowing Rock. So, and that is what I have for y'all today. And yeah, please feel free to reach out and get out and enjoy the beautiful weather of the high country this summer. All right. See you later.